All right, for exterior, it's pretty clean. A couple things that bother me when the windows do this. This is wild. You gotta get that fixed. Only window doing it. Speaking of that, this fender here has been repainted and touched up. You can see right here, see if I get my hand out of there, paint line towards the window. It goes through this fender edge, around that light, along, underneath, up into the jamb here, and then all the way up. So they blended it all the way up the pillar. I don't see any like welds or cuts or any like of the seams that were redone up here, so I don't believe it was replaced. I do believe this was worked on though. There's a little bit of imperfection right here. You can kind of feel it with your hand, like a low spot. So it's good, but I mean, it's been worked on. Overall, everything else on the car is really left alone and looks great. Why is it blurry? Like, there we go. Sorry about that. It does have this nice lip here. There is some scuffs on the bottom, like some rashes there. And then beyond that, there's really just like a couple dings and like chips from like parking lots. You know what I mean? Like a little scratch there, a little scratch there, a little ding there. Nothing like really major. Some PDR, clean this thing up so well. A good buff and cut, make it world of difference on there with those little marks if they bug you. But there's not a lot. Top is in great shape. Lid's in good shape. Bumper back here is in good shape. A little bit of scuffs here, getting stuff in and out. That's normal. Has like the nice light package and everything. And it has like the sport lip all the way around the car, so it looks really good and it's complete. So, all right, I have this sitting in the engine bay for a startup. I wanted you to hear when it's warm. Alright, so basically it does that check for about 30 seconds, and then this idle smooths out super clean and like nothing happened. But it only really did it on warm starts, I noticed. The cold start seemed a little more fresh. Obviously it's trying to warm the car up, so maybe it's dumping extra fuel like that. You did have questions about the oil leaks. So this is your oil filter housing. This area looks like it's been just worked on, just cleaned. You can still see like the brush marks and the fresh gasket line there and everything. Like a new sensor. What caught my eye is down in here. You can see the oil at the oil pan there. The oil pan looks dry and clean, but like above it is dirty and wet. And so basically these engines are kind of at a slant in here, right? And so behind your oil housing, maybe they didn't clean, but when I come over here, this is your cam cap area. You see all that residue in there. There's a little bit of wetness. And then down in there, this pulley here has some wetness, and that cover is dark with like residue and stuff. You can kind of see more residue here. They were trying to clean it. Some cake there. So I believe this was worked on. You can smell some burning oil once this started getting hot and driving around. Nothing excessive, no smoking or anything, but don't want to smell that. That's not normal. And I believe it's either they didn't clean it really well after the work's done, or they just did a major concern on it, and maybe there is the valve cover on this side. It's really hard to say. That timing cover is a little damp down there, so something to look at or look into. These screws are pretty much undone, so they were in here doing some stuff, which is good. You want to see them making an effort to make the car right. If you listen close, has kind of a little squeak to it, and then it kind of let this focus. Hard to see, but your crank there, maybe there's some wobble in there. It could be a bearing, could be some oil saturation. Definitely something to say, hey, listen to that. But the car gets up and goes, drives great. So this here is for the intercooler up to the turbo and everything. It really deletes a lot of the corrugated stuff like this, right? This is a pretty good one, designed one. It's kind of hard to see, but down there they have a downpipe on here, and it's hard to say if that's catted or not. From the sound of the car, it's got good quiet exhaust, but it's still got some like pops and burbles, so it makes me think that primary cat's gone. The secondaries are still there. That's gonna be your engine bay. Okay, we always like to do our undercarriage. I start at the front here to just show if anything's like hanging down, sagging, loose, dragging. Looks really good. Everything's nice, tidy, and tucked. Most of the stock plastics are still here. I love to see that. Just a little rash on this front bumper here, but everything else there is really, really good. I'm gonna go to each corner here and just show lift points and frame and just kind of go through a couple things. All right, so we are on the driver front corner here. So these little blocks here, you'll see in the trunk portion, I showed you where your little rubber guys are. They sit on those when they go to use a lift, so that the lifts don't ever actually touch the car. They use those blocks. It's very, very awesome to see those still in the car. Lower body plastics are all still in really good shape. And then your rear lift point here. Exhaust is all pretty much stock. Cats are in that middle section there. Resonators are still here. We're gonna go to the rear here. And so this is your factory mufflers, still there. Rear diff, and then you can see your resonators and stuff as you go forward. It's really nice sound. It's not loud or too much or anything. I did want to give you a note just so you're ready for that. All right, let's keep moving. We're on the passenger side here. So that's going to be that lift point block. Plastics are all still there. And then front lift point block. See your exhaust. Those bulbous things over there. Those are your cats. I don't know if I'll be able to show it, but the downpipe is up in there behind the wheel. It's kind of hard to tell, but it's a name brand. They got it welded to the side of it and everything. Sounds good. This is gonna be our interior. I always start here with the wheel so you can kind of see everything you got here. Nice leather. This does have the heated switch on the back here. Radio controls and everything here. Cruise control back here. So you, this is on like to the side, and then pushing away and to you like high beams is how you go up and down. And then as you see, up and down is off. So it'll be a little bit weird to get used to if you're not used to it. It does have the forward-facing fog lights, auto lights, and then in power folding mirrors, and then auto all 4 windows down. Does have the map here, and then you have your central controls here. You can pretty much just push a button, it takes you where you want to go. Nav, very good. It's tracking where we are correctly. All the street signs and that roads are all correct. Auto climate with heated seats, and then the 6 CD. Volume is a little less than you would think. So like 3 clicks, you would think it would be up louder than what actually happened. So it's not dramatic. No backup camera on this. I'm gonna close this at this. I'm gonna open up all the doors and we're gonna go from the outside in. All right, driver seat here does have the memory options. Does have the guy here. Pushes all this stuff out, and then lumbar, and then your power seats here, and then this guy you pull in, the famous BMW leg support. Pedals are in good shape. It does have these all-weather mats. Carpet underneath is pretty good. This little pin's out, but that's about all I found. Door cards are in really good shape on these overall. The seats don't look like they're used a lot. Pretty low mileage on this car, honestly, for the year. And then this seat looks like it had a car seat in it for a long time, so you do have some marks there from the car seat. Over time, the foam should come back into that. Just have people sit here and it'll form to them. It does have the center console with all that. We're gonna pause on this side, and then back to the passenger. These seat backs are in good shape. Like I said, leather's in really good shape as well as the door cards. Front passenger here, power seat on this side as well. Same adjustments as the front, which is awesome, and same story. Does have the pop out cup holders. They are all working smoothly, and the wraparound one. They could use a good clean, but they're working good. And that's going to be your interior. All right, we're going to do our trunk really quick. So basically it's got this little stain here. Overall, good sized trunk, not a lot in it. They do have these flares and then multiple roadside triangles, and then these I believe are your lift pucks. So whenever you go in for service or anything, tell them you have the lift pucks in the trunk, and I'll show you on the undercarriage part where those lock in so that they're not just hitting the body, they just sit on these pucks. The lift arm should never touch the car itself. No spare tire kit in this. It's most likely a fix-a-flat kit that's not there anymore. Nice little tray. Lid operation is as intended. There's a little button just right below here. Just kind of lift up. It's not really like a squeeze, it's like a pressure. There is a switch on the dash. It lets this go, but I think maybe these could use some love, and it's not letting it pop when you use that inside, because I still had to use this trigger here. But other than that, looks great. All right, we're gonna go through the scan here. So just check down here, make sure your VIN always matches the car from the computer. It's good. So going through, pretty much everything passed. We did have some codes in the engine management, obviously, with the tune and everything. So basically you got the Valvetronics, which is controlling your open and closure rates. It's not getting plausible signals. And then also the engine management is implausible data because you have a tune doing that job. Those were the only things in there. I did note them all down, wrote all the codes out in number form and everything so you could see that and have that information. We don't have any active lights driving the vehicle around. Everything functions as normal. Cruise control, the shifts, everything. Steering wheel controls on the cruise control. The manual shift here works. The manual shift on the steering wheel works. So it's not like it interrupted or changed any of the functionality of that normal operation. We're gonna go to our monitors. All right, so this is actually a surprise. Normally, like at least with diesels, when you have tunes and stuff, all this stuff is just gone. Like it doesn't give you any data. So all of this is working. Obviously the EGR is not, because that system has been deleted. You'll see that on the engine bay portion. But all of it checked out good. We did about 16 miles on this drive. Just missed my original exit and had to do a little more loop, but that's okay. Good here, all green checks. The EGR being out, I'll show you, like I said, in that engine bay portion, they have a lot of that stuff deleted in there, and it does have a downpipe and stuff, so it's gonna get rid of that. EGR is basically your exhaust being sent back into the engine. Most performance products are gonna get rid of that first. All right, we're at the conclusion here. I always like to try and make these things look really alive for this part. So you had a couple concerns about the oil leaks on these. I did note that the oil filter housing does look like it has been adjusted recently. There is still residue along the front side of the block, and then down the side there is some wetness that's going down towards the oil pan. So it makes it hard to tell if that's the pan is also, or if it's from above, or they didn't clean it well. So something to look into. We do have some pulley noise. Just kind of there. Didn't hear anything rubbing or bumping into itself, so I feel like it might be bearing related. We did find that there's been some paint work done on this corner here. Does have snow tires on it. They're in really good shape. Just keep that in mind. It does have the tune. Some dealer said it needs to be driven in sport mode or it goes lean and gives you issues. I didn't want to experience that, so I kept it in sport mode. Drives around fine. With it in sport mode, it does shift a little harder than normal, so keep that in mind. I would try to get that tune updated, especially in your engine startup area of the video. That kind of like bog out and then it goes through its checks. That would be kind of irritating throughout the day to kind of have to wait that extra 30 seconds before you get going. If it's not a bother to you, I mean, the thing runs out good. The tune's clean, I'll say that much. Exhaust is stock, which I loved, except for downpipe and some intake stuff, and it sounds great. Still got some burbles and pops. Still has the secondary cats, but I don't believe the primary is there anymore. And as far as exterior, there's just some chips beyond that quarter panel, just some chips, stings, dents. But It's good trim. It's got pretty much everything in there. Good looking car. 83,000 miles on this is great. That's great mileage for these. X-drive, meaning it is all-wheel drive, so keep that in mind. It's kind of a nice drive. It doesn't get away from you, just goes where you point it. In conclusion, I really like driving this. It's pretty comfortable. BMWs always have that really heavy steering. I like that feel. Car drives well. Cruise control, just cruise down the highway. It's very quiet, like I said, but when you get in it, it's not loud, but it does give BMW noise, you know? Love that. So we're gonna just stop there and conclusions.